So with International Women's Day taking place on Tuesday, I wanted to focus my Culture Row debate today on whether or not feminism has indeed gone too far, or if it is actually needed. Here to debate this, I'm joined by Kellie-Jay Keen, the founder of Stand-In for Women, and Mike Buchannan, the leader of the political party Justice for Men and Boys and the women who love them. Now, Mike, in 30 seconds, has feminism gone too far?
Feminism has always gone too far. The idea that women are an oppressed class is an absolute joke. They're a highly privileged class, and feminism today exists simply, well, for the reason it's always existed, to extend female privilege over men. And there are just so many areas where women are privileged. I defy Kellie-Jay to tell me one area where women are oppressed in Britain today.
Kellie-Jay, I assume that your position would be that if we look at the debate around women's rights and women to access to single-sex spaces and issues like this, that actually women are facing a threat in that respect.
100%. Look, this existential threat to women, including our language, our spaces and so on, is happening to women. I don't see that makes us an overprivileged class. I think it's utterly mistaken to suggest that women and men are totally the same, that our lives should be totally the same. Of course they're not. But yeah, in 2022, I don't think feminism is fit for purpose, because many people who call themselves feminists actually include men who call themselves women as women. So yeah, I think feminists need to maybe rebrand if they actually care about women and women's rights. I certainly think feminism is a much better word that talks about females.
I think it's about time for the fifth wave of feminism, the wave goodbye.
Well, but Mike, how are women privileged in modern life?
In so many areas. I mean, if you just take healthcare, for example, there are two national screening programs for cancer, breast cancer and cervical cancer. More men die of prostate cancer than die of breast cancer. There's not even any discussion about there being a national screening program for men. Males have been disadvantaged in the education system since 1987. So today something like 60% of students are female. Wherever you look, I mean, women have protection against genital mutilation. Males have no protection against genital mutilation.
Where are the campaigns, though? Where are the campaigns for that? Because obviously women, the reason women's healthcare is very much considered is women worked really hard to get those healthcare needs front and center. So maybe men should do the same. I think it's absolutely quite right. If prostate cancer is the biggest killer
reason for that, Kellie-Jay,
of men,
the reason is
then, sorry, I can't hear you because I'm talking. If prostate cancer is really serious, then men surely should raise a campaign.
Yeah, just say that again, Kellie-Jay. We missed that ever so slightly.
Well, look, I think prostate cancer seriously is a killer of men, and I don't understand why there isn't more of a push to do screening. But that doesn't mean that women are privileged. It means that we fought really hard to get those campaigns front and centre for women.
Do you think that ultimately a nice society, the kind of society that I'd like to see, is one where we don't actually have this relentless focus on the issue of identity? I think that explains what you campaign heart and soul over at the minute, which is the protection of single-sex spaces. There was access to single-sex spaces. When you have someone like J.K. Rowling being dismissed as some kind of bigot for arguing as a woman who survived domestic abuse in the home in the past, to actually argue for access to those single-sex spaces, being derided for doing so. Isn't that just because we are doing this? We are focusing on identity and making identity king. Shouldn't we get away from all of that?
Well, it's very easy to say that, Darren.
I'll let you come back.
Okay, Joe. So the reason that there is no traction on male, let's say on prostate cancer, is because priority is always given to females. So it's all very well saying women have fought for this or fought for that, but women are pushing out an open door. I've been campaigning with others to bring about an end to male genital mutilation, which is a crime in this country, and I'm not even permitted to bring out a private prosecution.
Well, Mike, I also think that you raise a very important point on, for example, working class boys. They are disadvantaged as far as education is concerned. It's an important point, but I don't think, Kellie-Jay, again, I go back to that point, I don't think that segregating us and separating us on all kinds of things like identity-based, immutable characteristics is one that I think is laudable.
Well,
no,
you see that,
it's absolutely...
I
Let
to the point that we live
that,
in...
Mike, if you can let Kellie-Jay just answer that question.
Look, it's absolutely preposterous. There are differences between men and women. These are fundamental biological differences. And I think it would be ridiculous to suggest that my biological makeup doesn't in some way shape my cultural experience, right? To then say that that can just be worn and adopted, I think is horrendously offensive. And that particular assault is happening more to women than it is to men. We can't even say a woman is an adult human female without being accused of using a transphobic dog whistle. So on that level, I don't think this could happen if we were this wonderfully overprivileged, well-considered and centred class of people. So I think just on that basis, that's rather silly. But, feminists are also championing this. So I really have no traction with modern day feminism at all.
Yeah, so Mike, then, how will you be celebrating International Women's Day?
The way I always do.
Right, which is?
By ignoring it completely. It's
Kellie-Jay, how will you be celebrating International Women's Day?
Oh, I probably will have a lovely glass of wine, ensuring that the members of Standing for Women have some fabulous discounts. That's probably what I'm going to do.
Well, Kellie-Jay Keen and Mike Buchannan, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. You're with GB News on telly and